Get ready. Start. Now, madam, this bill intends to set up a corporation in place of the existing board. We are told that this corporation will continue to perform the same function as the old board. We are told that the board has been working very well and has been responsible for the development of the cooperative movement all these years. If that is so, I cannot understand the necessity for setting up a corporation different from the board. If the functioning of the board has been satisfactory, what is the necessity for forming a corporation? What are the other advantages that we are having in forming a corporation? We could gather from the annual report on the corporation issued by the Ministry of Community Development and the speech of the Deputy Minister that the board has been only an advancing agency for the respective states. Of course, they have set up 3 or 4 committees to go into the question of the various aspects of the cooperative movement. I think this job can be done by the ministry itself. Now, coming to the composition of this corporation and of the executive committee as it is envisaged in the bill, it is evident that it is practically riddled with government officials. There is only a sprinkling of non-official representation. I can understand the constitution of the board as it is done by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. We know the views with regard to democratic decentralization of the Minister of Food and Agriculture, but I cannot understand how the Minister of Community Development, who lays great stress on and gives importance to democratic decentralization, can copy the same old method that was there with regard to the composition of the old board and incorporate it in the new legislation, practically going back on his own recommendations that the cooperative movement must be representative of or carried on by non-official bodies. It is relevant at this time to point out that the Prime Minister himself has pointed out that the cooperative movement must be actually carried on by non-official bodies and that official interference must be the least. But when we take into consideration the composition of the corporation and the executive committee, non-official representation is practically negligible. So all these factors have to be taken into consideration. Again, before the bill was brought forward before the House, the government should have taken advantage to liberalize certain regulations taking into account the past experience and impediments in the growth of the cooperative movement. The government have tried to make this legislation more conducive to the development of the cooperative movement.